You check your bank account on the last Friday of the month, and there it is, a number that should not be there. Not with what you make, not with the job title on your LinkedIn, not with the salary you negotiated 2 years ago that felt like you'd finally made it. But the number doesn't lie. And for just a second, you stare at your phone screen wondering where all of it went. My name is Nico, and today we're going to talk about something nobody in your life is brave enough to bring up. Why smart, educated, high-earning people are still completely broke at the end of every single month. And I don't mean broke like struggling to eat. I mean broke like earning more money than your parents ever dreamed of and still having nothing to show for it. No savings, no investments, no real cushion. Just a lifestyle that costs every dollar you make and sometimes a few more than that. If that hit close to home, stick around, because by the end of this video, you're going to understand exactly how this trap works and what one honest calculation can change everything. And if you find value in this, a thumbs up or a subscribe genuinely helps this channel reach more people. Now, let's get into it. Here's the uncomfortable reality. According to a 2023 survey by Empower, nearly 1 in 3 Americans earning $100,000 to $150,000 a year say they live paycheck to paycheck. Let that sink in. $100,000 a year. That's more than double the U.S. median household income, and roughly 1 in 3 of those earners is still one bad month away from a financial crisis. A separate Bankrate survey found that fewer than half of Americans could cover a $1,000 emergency from savings alone. And again, we are not just talking about lower-income households. We're talking about engineers, nurses, marketing managers, lawyers, consultants, people with real skills and real salaries who have somehow built a life where the money disappears the instant it arrives. And the craziest part? Most of them are genuinely smart people. So if intelligence doesn't protect you from this, what does? Let me introduce you to Marcus. Marcus is 34 years old. He's a project manager at a tech company in a mid-sized city, pulling in $120,000 a year. By almost every conventional measure, Marcus is crushing it. He drives a fairly new SUV with a $680 monthly payment, not flashy, just nice and reliable. He rents a 1-bedroom in the better part of town because the neighborhood felt important when he signed the lease. He eats out 4 or 5 times a week because, honestly, he works long hours and he deserves to eat well. He has a gym membership he uses regularly, 4 streaming services, a credit card balance he keeps meaning to pay down, and he took one genuinely great trip last year that he put on the card because the deal was too good to skip. Marcus isn't reckless. He's not gambling. He's not making obviously bad decisions. He's just living the life he feels like he earned. But here's where it gets really interesting. After federal taxes, state taxes, and FICA, Marcus takes home somewhere around $83,000 a year. That's roughly $6,900 a month hitting his checking account. Sounds like real money. And then you look at where every dollar of it actually goes. Rent, $1,800. Car payment, $680. Car insurance, $175. Gas and parking, $120. Groceries, $380. Eating out and coffee, $600. Streaming subscriptions and gym, $185. Phone, $90. Minimum credit card payment, $260. Utilities, $160. Personal care, clothing, random online purchases, $350. And we haven't even touched travel, holiday spending, birthday gifts, or the random expenses that somehow materialize every single month without warning. Let me show you the math, because when you actually add this up, Marcus is spending somewhere between $6,800 and $7,200 a month on a $6,900 take-home. He's essentially at zero. And if you annualize his full lifestyle costs, including that vacation he financed, you're looking at a person earning $120,000 a year who is effectively spending $115,000 of it, leaving almost nothing left over to build any actual wealth. And here's the part that will blow your mind, because the real problem isn't that Marcus is making bad choices. Every single one of those decisions felt completely reasonable in the moment he made them. The apartment? Reasonable. It's a safe neighborhood. The car? He needed something dependable. The restaurants? He works hard and life is short. The trip? He was burned out and needed it. The subscriptions? They're only $15 each, right? But here's what Marcus never saw coming. None of these choices exist by themselves. They stack on top of each other, quietly, invisibly, month after month. And what he unknowingly built is what behavioral economists call lifestyle creep, where every raise, every income increase, every promotion gets immediately absorbed by a slightly more expensive version of his own life. He didn't consciously choose to be broke, he just never consciously chose not to be. This is the psychological trap that almost nobody talks about directly. Because our brains are wired for social comparison, we constantly and mostly unconsciously benchmark our lifestyle against the people we see around us. Marcus's coworkers drive similar cars. His friends rent in similar neighborhoods. His social media feed is full of people eating at the same restaurants and booking the same kinds of vacations. So none of it ever feels like excess. It just feels like normal, like what someone at his level does. And the marketing world has spent billions of dollars making sure it stays that way. Every car commercial, every travel app, every credit card rewards program is specifically designed to tell you that this purchase, this upgrade, this experience is simply what a successful person like you naturally deserves. And when your entire social environment reinforces that message every day, the spending never feels like a trap. It just feels like life. Now, some of you are already formulating the objection. You're thinking, okay, Nico, but my student loans are real, or rent in my city is genuinely expensive, or I have kids and these costs aren't optional. And those are completely fair points. Real expenses exist. I'm not suggesting Marcus should move into a studio apartment and eat rice every night and never leave the house again. But I want you to notice something. The objection almost always focuses on defending the current spending, rather than honestly examining whether the current spending is actually producing the life you want. Because if you are spending $115,000 a year and have nothing to show for it financially, by definition, the current approach is not working. The math is brutal. And that's the crazy part. The fix doesn't require living like a monk. Because if Marcus just trimmed 15% of his total lifestyle spending, and we're not talking dramatic cuts, just honest adjustments across a few categories, that's roughly $18,000 freed up every single year. $18,000. Now let me show you the math on what that number actually means. $18,000 a year invested consistently into a simple index fund at a historical average return of around 8% annually, compounded over 30 years, grows to over $2 million. $2 million. Not from landing some windfall, not from picking the right stock, not from a side hustle that takes over your life, just from redirecting 15% of his current lifestyle spending into an account that works for him, instead of disappearing into things that depreciate to zero the moment he buys them. Marcus isn't far from having real, serious wealth. He's just spending the wealth-building money before it ever gets the chance to do anything. And this is the opportunity cost that almost no one actually sits down and calculates. Every $500 spent on something you don't truly need isn't just $500 gone. It's $500 that never compounded, never grew, never built leverage. Over time, the gap between the person who spent that money and the person who invested it isn't just a financial gap. It becomes a completely different life. At 55, one of those people has real options. They can choose to work or choose not to. The other person, at 55, still needs every paycheck and has no runway left to change that. Here's what I want you to walk away with today. Marcus isn't a story about stupidity or laziness or irresponsibility. He's a story about how incredibly easy it is to earn well and still build nothing when you never stop to look honestly at the gap between what you make and what you actually keep. Because income is not wealth. Income is potential. Wealth is what happens when you protect some of that potential instead of immediately converting all of it into a lifestyle that looks great and builds nothing. The shift isn't about deprivation. It's about intention. It's about asking yourself, just once, not whether you can afford something, but whether affording it is truly the best use of what you've worked so hard to earn. Because the version of you who decides to redirect even 15% of today's spending isn't earning less. That person is just making a different and far more powerful decision about where that money goes. And over time, that single decision doesn't just change your account balance, it changes what is possible for your entire future. You become the kind of person who has options. And options, it turns out, are worth a lot more than the things most people are spending their money on. If this video made you think differently about something today, drop it in the comments. I read them, and it genuinely helps me understand what matters most to this community. If you want more content like this, subscribe so you don't miss what's coming next. As always, nothing here is financial advice, just honest math and real conversation about how money actually works. I'll see you in the next one.